What's that I hear in the distance? Is it a earthquake? No, it's a shockwave. So let's get this G.I. Joe classified Shockwave unboxed, talk about him and what's good, what's bad, and my ultimate opinion of him. And here he is out of the windowless packaging, one of the last windowless packaging G.I. Joes, because in 2024, the windows are coming back. Before I open his weapons locker, let's just take a look at all of his joints, see how they work, and if there's any loose ones that I have any issues with. Head looks decent, alright. Arms, elbows are a little stiff, wrists are good. Elbows are the most stiff part so far of the figure. He's got the pinned knees, which is interesting because we've long since moved on from those, but they move really well. And, so far, I don't have too many issues with how he moves. Hey, it's me from the future. I specifically had some troubles with Shockwave's ankles, of all things, to get him posed, and it didn't really help that the knife sheath on his ankle was interfering with a lot of the posing. So just take that with what you will. It doesn't really affect my overall impression of Shockwave. He still looks great, and the details are phenomenal. But if you are into posing, if you are into all that toy photography kind of stuff, just be aware of that. Again, a little stiff, just out of the box. I could definitely warm him up a little bit. That would probably loosen the joints, but so far, not bad. Let's get the weapons out now. As you saw with the figure out of the box, he didn't have his hat on, but it is a removable hat. It looks very nice. We have not one, but two of these Uzis that do allow you to slot in the magazines. Now, these are really tiny, but it does give a little extra length to the weapon accessory that makes it look well. I'm probably doing this backwards, aren't I? No, I don't think I'm doing that backwards. I'm not sure if you can see that, but we have just a slight bend to these, and that's just kind of a product of how they're packaged. But, that one slotted in a whole lot easier there. Not one, but two different knives. He has his club right here, because he is one of the Riot guys, but again, if you notice, it does have that weird bend in it. And here's the main accessory for Shockwave. He comes with the shield right here. It does have some paint with Cobra logos on there, probably talking about how many he's eliminated. But it feels like these maybe should have been part of a tiny little sticker sheet. I love sticker sheets, and just adding those would have been a lot of fun. Kind of a throwback to the old G.I. Joes when we were putting a lot of stickers on vehicles. Start getting all of the items on him. So first, I want to put the Riot shield on because, well, that is kind of what Shockwave I remember him for. So let's take some of the accessories here, let's put him on Shockwave, and then we'll get an assessment of how he looks all put together. Got him all put together. This is just my initial pose right here. As you can see, all of his accessories fit on him. I have nothing on my table over there. His utility knife is the one that sits on his boot. His Uzis kind of sit at his sides. You can leave the magazines in there, which is great because there's no other place that I can see that those would go. His shield, of course, sits nicely on his arm, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And his club and hat do complete the look. Now that I've had some time to process what Shockwave is all about and pose him and play with him a little bit, let's talk about some of the things that I absolutely love about him. And it should be no shocker that the first thing that I love about him is the accessory set. The shield, the club, the Uzis, all that kind of stuff really go well with Shockwave. He is a faithful recreation to the original one that I remember having, but of course he's got that classified look, even the classified Joe Pro right up there. The digital blue camo looks really great, and even though there is a lot of part reuse here, he does look unique in terms of all of the other G.I. Joe classified figures sitting up on my shelf over there. That said, not everything is perfect with the accessories. If I move his arm back this way, you can kind of see what I had to do to get it to fit. This forearm armor, whatever you want to call it, I had to slide it around so that the shield would clip over his kind of forearm area here. It would be easy to take out. I could just remove his hand and slide this off, but then I would have an extra piece just kind of lying around when everything else fits so well on the character. And it would have been nice if the accessories were a little less prone to bending. You can see that with the club here. You saw that with the tiny magazines that fit into his sidearms, well, Uzis or whatever you want to call them. And while it does look very toy-like to have those bends and imperfections, when you have a highly detailed figure like this, you're looking for a little more. And as we've seen in some of the earlier G.I. Joe classified figures, when you have things slung around the boots, it tends to fall and drag down over time. My overall impression of Shockwave is I like the figure overall, but he is not one of my absolute favorites. All of his colors and accessories make Shockwave stand out on the G.I. Joe shelf. which is great, but he's not one of the top tier characters, and that's okay. It's alright just being in the middle sometimes. So hats off to Shockwave for making a really nice figure. Alright, that's the review for Shockwave. He is a decently perfect average figure. If you want to let me know your thoughts, leave them in the comment section below. And if you like this review, give a thought to subscribing to the channel, help it grow, and we can cover more G.I. Joes, Nerf, action figures, toys in the future. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.